So I'm going to be demonstrating both technique and flow for seated position for the SomaVeda Level 1 Tie on the Table course. And thank you for everyone being here. We start with the seated forearm press, where we perch and not press. The idea here in tie is that we use as little energy as possible to gain maximum results. To do this seated forearm press, I'm going to press with my forearms in 3 different locations. The first is nearest to the neck, that's point 1. Point 2 is going to be mid-shoulder, and then point 3 is at the outer edge of the shoulder. The nice thing about this is that if we're doing multiple repetitions, we're going to go back in and then back out. And this can be done up to 10 times, but I'll show 3. So I settle my arms just on either side of her neck, and I'll gently lean and press, and I'll roll just a little bit. And then I move to point 2, press and roll. Move to point 3, press and roll. And then I go back in, point 2, press and roll, point 1, press and roll. I get a nice little pace working here as I go back out to the shoulders. All right, from here, I'm going to have you lie down on the table with your head over here. And let's go ahead and lift the knees and cross the ankles, and then drop the knees out to the side. Is that comfortable for you? All right, so this next technique I'm going to do is called the standing arm pull. I'm going to do one arm at a time, and I'll start with the arm closest to me. Gently lift it up and over the head, testing the range of motion. All right, now here I have options. I can just, without putting my knee on the table, I place one hand in the upper arm, one hand at the wrist, and gently lean back like I'm pulling a tug of war. I'm going to do this 3 times, relaxing that tension, and take a nice deep breath. And release that tension, and pull, and release that tension. Now, I do have the option of setting my leg on the table as well, especially if a person has some reduced range of motion, and I can pull. Good. So that's variation. I'm going to do the second side now. Bringing the arm up over the head, testing the range of motion, remembering that one arm and the other arm might not be identical. And one hand grasping on the upper arm, one hand grasping on the wrist, and a nice slow pull 1. Inhale, release, how does that feel? Good. And 2, just like a little tug of war. And notice how I'm using my body. I'm not just using my arms, I'm leaning into this, making sure my structure is good. And 3. All right, so the next move we're going to do is seated position. Can I have that bolster, please? Thank you. Pull my arms on up. All right, to set up for the whale, Ardha Matsyendrasana, we're going to place the bolster behind the client. It can be more pillow, it could be less pillow. In certain situations, we might even use our body instead. But I'm going to place my hand at the nape of her neck and one hand at the shoulder, and gently guide her down on the table for this assisted back bend. Good. And from here, I can do some shaking. Some gentle rocking, one hand at the hip and one hand at the rib cage, and it's a nice, gentle oscillation. So this is what to do, this is what not to do. Okay, as soon as they go closest to you, you just use your hands and start feeling and allowing their body's natural oscillation to guide you. We can do this for a minute to 5 minutes during a session. And what it does is really help deeply release the tiny muscles along the spine. This is great for people who have back pain. Sometimes if the bolster is too much, you can reset a person, okay? So from here, after the whale, we're gonna help the client up. Now there's two ways to do this. If you're working with someone who's heavy, then you may want to turn them over on the side, or you may want to pull them up. So I'm gonna show the pull up first. So go ahead and give me your arms. And here we go. Now there are some people who do not have the ab muscles to do that. You know, they're weak, they're infirm, they don't feel well. That might not be the best way to get them up. So I'm gonna put you on your side again. Sorry, on your back again. From here, what I'll do is lift this knee up and put 2 fingers underneath the shoulder and gently turn you over. Okay, and now go ahead and push into your elbow and sit up and straighten your legs for me. Yeah, facing this direction. All right, I'm gonna move the bolster to get it out of the way for the next move. Go ahead and scoot back so your heels are on the table. Great. And then I'm going to get very close to the client, framing this work for the full forward bend. Now the first step of the full forward bend is to place my hands at the triceps. I'm not grabbing, I'm just placing the hands. You're gonna straighten your arms, and as you breathe in, I'm gonna take a good stretch here, pulling her arms towards me and pushing my pelvis forward. And then you're gonna breathe, exhale, bend forward, touch your toes as best as you can. Good. And then I'm gonna hold her into place, and on each exhale, I follow her down a little bit more. Good, and exhale. Good, now I'm gonna hold her steady here and breathe. Good. Does this feel all right for you? Okay, so there's a variation here you'll see in the book where you basically just crawl on the client. Does that feel okay? Okay, good. Yeah, it is. It's like a nice warm hug. This is all about love and compassion. So from here, we usually go 3 breaths. It can be longer as long as the client is comfortable and okay and enjoying the stretch. Take the hand behind the nape of the neck, one hand on the shoulder, so it would be like right about here, not on the chest under the throat. That could be a little too intimidating. And then one fell swoop, we're gonna come in and come on down. Good. And then from here, thank you, I'm going to do the warm-up and puja to complete. So I move to the space between my client's feet. At this point, I can put a knee on the table for some additional support, and I'm gonna do some alternating palm walking up and down the medial leg. We started the session this way as well. So we start at the heel area, and each press is 1 palm width apart as I palm walk out towards the balls of the feet, and then back to the heels, and then walking up this medial leg with my fingers nice and tight, hands on the knees, big sloppy circles, and then get back on the table fully, continue walking up towards the midline. We find the soft spot at the femoral triangle. That's where we place our palms, fingertips facing out, and then gently rock on. Nice deep breath. Hold for a count of 10. And then gently release and palm walk down the leg. Big sloppy circles. Walk down, back to the heel, out to the toes again. So I'm not squeezing, but I'm letting my fingertips and fingers be soft. And then back to the heels, nice touch. So a little extra bonus here, this is in one of the videos, is a little wiggle. So after you've worked on the client for this whole session, you kind of want them to rest a little bit. But all work integrate, and this is just a nice little way to settle in all that energy. You can do that for 1 to 2, 3 minutes, whatever works. And then you come back to the navel for puja. And this is where we complete our ceremonial activity.